There
Hi,
we go.
everybody. Yeah, we're on. Yay, we made it. Kate, it's a miracle. Thanks to your wonderful fellow Marcus, who is his birthday. So happy birthday, Marcus. Hey, everybody. This is Val Hart and Kate Solisti, my wonderful guest today. We've been having a little technical trouble with Google, so we're starting a little late. Please forgive us. In the meantime, welcome to the party. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We've got some awesome topics to talk about. Can't wait to hear Kate's wonderful stories. But let me introduce first the show. So I'm Val Hart, called the Real Dr. Dolittle, Animal Communicator to the Stars, best-selling author, etc., etc. I've done a lot of fun things in my life, and my specialty is solving problems with pets. I'm also the founder and host of the Animal Talk Coaching Club and of this wonderful series. So our goal, our mission is to bring you into our world so that you can see what we see, feel what we feel, hear what we hear when we work with animals, when we tune and connect at the heart and the mind. For interspecies communication, our goal, my personal goal, is to reach 1 million animal lovers around the world with this message to help you better understand your pets, be able to hear their voices, be able to help them when they're sad or confused or lost or lonely. And also, I believe that when we do all of this together, that we can change the world. So, my special guest today is Kate Solisti. She is, let's see, her website is katesolisti.com, S-O-L-I-S-T-I. She has been a professional interspecies communicator for 22 years. You know, Kate, I think that's as long as me. We're old.
Wait a minute now.
We've been around the block a few times, yes.
I
Not our first rodeo.
think we should say we're timeless, Val.
Oh,
We're
I like that even better, much better. Thank you, thank you. You're timeless. I love it. All right, so you've been doing this for 22 years. You've taught animal communication and teach it. You do nutrition and meal planning for dogs and cats. You do holistic healing techniques for animals in the U.S. and in Europe. You have 5 fabulous books that are published in 7 languages. You're a spokesperson for animals, domestic and wild. Thank you so much for doing that. You were the keynote speaker at the British Association of Homeopathic Veterinary Surgeons. You've done various whole life expos. You've been a guest faculty member at the International School for Professional Horsemanship in Belgium. Way cool. I can't wait to hear. I'd love to hear about that. We should talk just about that. I love horses. Horses are near and dear to my heart. I'm an equine peak performance specialist, so we would have fun. Let's do that. Let's do that. Come back to the show another time. We'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Kate's also lectured at 3 National Association of Professional Pet Sitters conferences throughout the U.S. You've given dog and cat raw food cooking classes at Whole Foods and other venues. You've spoken on flower essence therapy for animals and for the Lang Institute of Canine Massage and the Boulder School of Massage. This is so way cool. You have the Solisti Animal Practitioner certification for animal caregivers and practitioners on your website. Again, that's katesolisti.com. Our topic today is, why is interspecies communication important globally and personally? Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you, Val. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. It took a bit. It took a little bit, didn't it? But that's okay. You know what? Google, the magic of Google is our friend, and we figured it out, and we got there, so it's okay. So let's begin. Tell the audience your story. How did you become an interspecies animal communicator? What brought you to this work?
Well, my earliest memories when I was a little girl were of connecting to animals and plants and feeling that was really, that was normal for me. But I realized, because I could also connect to what people were thinking and feeling, that they weren't picking up what I was picking up. They weren't connecting the way I was connecting. It was as if my doors were all open and theirs were closed. So it was a little lonely, except for my wonderful relationships with the plants and animals. And it was a really magical time. And I was very verbal, and so I would tell my parents what I was picking up. And at first they thought that was very cute. but later on they started to get a little concerned about it.
Yeah,
So,
I can relate. I thought I was a dog for a portion of my childhood, and my parents are getting a little worried about me. I could, I
you
could,
were a
I could,
dog.
I could better understand our wonderful German Shepherd Fritz much better than the people. They they didn't make much sense to me.
No, it was very confusing because people would say one thing and be thinking and feeling other things. And it was very
I hate that. Don't you hate that?
I
It's
love that.
true.
I hate
It's true.
that. It's true. It was very confusing. And when my mother said to me, there was an episode where she had this little coffee club, and the ladies were talking, and I was sitting in the middle of the floor playing. And after the ladies left, I said to my mother, "Well, Mrs. Smith really hates her husband." And my mother said, "Oh, where did you ever get that idea? That's terrible. That's not true." And
Wow.
I went, uh-oh. uh, what I got, which was what her feelings, her body, her mind, everything were telling me, I wasn't supposed to trust that. I was supposed to trust what she said. And that was a real turning point for me because I said to myself, okay, I better trust what humans say rather than what they think and feel. And
Boy, that was at least 20 years of therapy, right?
well,
Figure that one out.
I have to say I'm still not very good at reading people because I trust too easily. I mean I see the goodness and I see their heart's intent, and then I can miss a lot of the other stuff that's wrapped around that. And that has been a challenge my whole life. Animals, love it. They're so clear, they're so pure. There's no duality with animals. They are who they are. They don't they don't tell us stuff that's not true. They don't know how to do that.
Well,
Uh,
they don't see any point in it. Why would they? Why?
right.
It makes no sense. And why do people do it? I don't know. That's kind of weird. We're
Hmm.
kind of weird. We're a weird species. Have you ever? Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, but I relate. I so totally relate. It's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, so I actually ended up shutting all my abilities down because my dad gave me this darling kitten, and it was love at first sight. He was an orange tabby, and his name was Dusty, and Dusty became my best friend, the love of my life. And we would just go in the garden. I grew up in suburban New Jersey, so we would go out in the garden and talk to flowers and birds and turtles, and it was magical. And I loved that life. And but I had to go to school, so I went to kindergarten and I went to first grade, and I sort of would come back and report to Dusty, what the kids.
Yeah.
And but when when I started first grade, he said, you do really need to apply yourself. You're a human being, and you need to learn how to relate to humans and be with people. And I said, oh, okay. So I started to enjoy school. And in October, he crawled into my bed and cuddled up next to me as he usually did, and said, "I'm so proud of you. I love you so much, and our work together is done." And I went to sleep feeling great, wonderful, loved by Dusty. Everything was right in the world. And I woke up and he was not on my bed, and that wasn't too usual. But something was different. And I went downstairs. He was not in the kitchen. And I said to my mother, "Mom, have you seen Dusty?" She said, "No." And I thought, this doesn't feel good. And so we had breakfast, we got in the car to go to school, we pulled out from our quiet street onto the busy street, and my mother went, and I said, "What did you see?" And she said, "Nothing." Of course I knew what she saw. And
Oh.
I was just, it's all the way to school. I kept saying, "What did you see? What did you see? What did you see?" Nothing, nothing, nothing. I said, we got to school, I said, "I'm not getting out of the car. You have to tell me what you saw." She said, "I think I saw Dusty on the side of the road." And I knew it was true. And I ran into school, threw my head down on my desk, started sobbing, and my best friend came up to me and said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, I got the words out, "Dusty, my cat, is dead." And he said, "Well, it's just a cat." And I just went, I really don't think I want to be here. This is not going to work. And I started to get very sick, and I got very bad tonsillitis. And my mother said, you turned from being a very sunny child into being a very dark and sullen one. And I went to have my tonsils out, and it was a horrific experience. Back in the early 60s, the hospitals were totally sterile. Everybody wore green, and there was nothing on the walls, and I'd never been away from my family. It was horrible. And I thought, okay, this is it. I'm out of here. And I went under anesthesia, and I felt that I was being lifted up and held very close by somebody, and I sort of nestled in, and I smelled this familiar smell, and it was Dusty. And
Wow.
And I know, he said, you know, I'm always here for you. You're not done. You have things to do, and we'll always be here. The animals will always be here for you. And I didn't say, oh, yay, okay, I can't wait to stay here and do it. I went, well, okay. And then the next thing I remember is coming out of, coming out of anesthesia with a horrible sore throat. My family was around me, and I decided at that point, I need to shut this down. I can't do this because nobody understands it. I don't want to go through the pain of losing somebody that I love like Dusty again. And so by the time I was 8, I closed it down, Val. And I pushed it all away really well. I forgot that I had conversations with the trees and other animals and plants. I could not forget, though, that he and I had very profound conversations. Not conversations, a little girl and a kitty cat, but real soul-to-soul, heart-to-heart conversations about life and purpose and meaning, and I just didn't tell anybody about it. I fit in, I did the normal stuff, and but I never felt like I really was where I belonged. Did you ever have that feeling? You were like feeling like you were from another planet?
Yeah, I had one of our colleagues told me she felt like a zebra in a herd of horses. It's like, are there any other zebras anywhere in the world? She's English, so zebras. Yeah, it's like we zebras need to band together, form our own herd. Yeah, it's so many of us have the same story. We're born, we're connected with some magic. It's so amazing, and then authority figures, our parents, the rest of the humans don't get it. And we either shut down, suppress, and go inward and become depressed. In my case, I was manically depressed and suicidal in my teenage years. Ooh. So, that was about 30 years of therapy. So, fortunately, I survived. It was my horse, my wonderful mare Maisie, that was my Dusty in my teenage years, and when I was on the verge and just ready to give it all up. And same thing you're talking about. It's like the world doesn't make sense to me. People don't make sense to me. I know all these other things, and they're saying that that's not true when I know it is. So what do I do with that? I don't know what to do with that. So she got me through some really rough years, and my other animals too, but thank God for them. But yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that part of your story.
You're welcome.
Wow, I know so many people relate to it. Anyway, so let's shift gears a little bit. Do you want to finish the story at how you came back to them?
Well, it really, just briefly, I decided to go to therapy, and when I went to therapy to, deal with stuff, I discovered this whole part of myself missing, what I refer to as the feminine intuitive parts of me that I just had to put aside. And my therapist said, I think it's really important that you reintegrate that. And I said,
yeah.
I think I will. And as I did, and it was a really extraordinary process, I began to hear again. And I was old enough, and I knew I wasn't crazy because it felt so right in my heart. And I knew this was something that was real, and that I had to continue to work with and develop and learn more about. And that was back in the late 80s. And I just was stubborn enough to say, okay, I've got to pursue this. And I just started, I was depressed because I thought, I wasn't terribly depressed. I was just bummed. Let me be clear. I
And
I said,
levels
okay,
of depression, right?
yeah. I said, okay, I don't get this. The only people I know who have a reference for talking trees and animals are Native Americans. But I didn't have any Native American blood, so I didn't get it. I thought this doesn't make sense because I didn't know anything about past lives. I didn't know anything about that yet. So it really started this incredibly beautiful journey of restoring myself to me and going forward just in a whole lot of trust, flying by the seat of my pants, letting the trees and the animals teach me. I didn't have human teachers. The animals and trees taught me because I kept asking and I kept learning. I kept offering myself to their teaching. So that was how I really learned.
Awesome, awesome. So you started opening that up deliberately and consciously chose not to suppress that part of yourself anymore, but to work with it, embrace it, embody it, and then you were guided. The animals themselves, I'm betting, pulled you forward, pull the best part of you sort of out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And the fun thing I want to point out to anyone who's listening is that if this resonates with you, then this is also possible for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So you've been a professional for 22 years. What kind of animals have you worked with?
Oh my goodness. Boy, everything from I've worked with horses, dogs, cats, ferrets, birds, reptiles, fish. I've had the great privilege of working with some wild animals through Fossil Rim Wildlife Center. I don't know if you know where that is. It's near Fort Worth.
Cool.
Very
Yeah.
very special place. So Mexican gray wolf named Selenio, who touched my heart so deeply, but kudu and giraffes and all kinds of antelopes and of course elephants and wolves and of course, as you know, we don't have to be with an animal physically to connect. So I've had the privilege of communicating with whales, and I have swum with dolphins, and it's just magical. But for all of us, we don't have to be in their physical presence because this connection is a heart connection that every living being shares on the planet. Humans we just cut ourselves off from it, but it's available to everyone. Is why our topic for today, meaning, looking at why is interspecies communication so important personally and globally, it's to restore that ancient connection that we must restore if humans are going to survive and not, destroy a lot of other beings in the process of us making a mess of our lives.
Yeah, we make a mess of our lives and then make a mess of everything around us, including the planet.
Exactly.
Ah, boy. Well, I know animals have said, humans are the species that need the most therapy, that need the most help, the most support. To me, animals are angels, teachers, guides, healers. They're messengers of the divine, and they're here, many of them trying to help us help save the planet.
Absolutely.
So, I know you have something you said. Do you think there's still time for we humans to wake up? Can we reverse the damage we've done? Can we still save the planet?
I believe we can, because I believe when our consciousness raises, when our consciousness evolves, all of the technology that can fix everything will be available to us because we will have achieved a whole nother level of understanding and connection, and when we do that, and this is historically true. I mean, this is not something that is like a new idea.
Right.
As humans have evolved, new concepts have come to us that we've been able to manifest. 200 years ago, you couldn't describe a computer or a telephone. People had nowhere for that. There was no place for that to live in their understanding and their consciousness. But as consciousness shifted, and a few people went, "Oh, I have an idea," like Steve Jobs or William who's the guy that invented the radio, Marconi. And what's interesting is that these ideas didn't happen in just one place in the world. When that person, as Edison was working on that light bulb, Tesla was doing extraordinary things with electricity. It didn't happen in isolation. The group consciousness started to shift, and with it, these new concepts appeared. Could they be part of the Akashic records? Could they be part of the clairsentience knowing that we all have available to us? Absolutely. So if we can shift our consciousness by connecting heart to heart with animals and knowing that we are part of the whole, I believe all that will be available to us and things can be shifted in a moment.
Yes, that brings me to my vision. I downloaded a vision and a mission, which is, I believe if we can reach and teach and upload the consciousness of 1 million animal lovers around the planet, we will, in fact, change the world.
I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you for your support. I hope everyone listening, you can feel that, because all you need, these kernels of ideas, the encouragement, to embrace your feminine intuitive side, a little bit of teaching, some guidance, some direction in how to embrace, how to open, how to connect with animals, and the wisdom of them will then come through and help us be the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be, and that's what the world needs. It needs us to be the best version of ourselves.
Yep, and it's all about love. It's just simply all about love. So through our love for our own animals and our love for the wild ones in the natural world, as we expand and open the heart, and again, this can be done very consciously, that every time you feel love for your dog or your cat or your horse, feel that expanding out and connecting to all the other people that are feeling the same thing all around the planet when they pet their dog or they pet their cat or they feed their fish, then they're feeling something in their heart. See that it's like little lights going off all over the world, and if more of us do that consciously, I totally agree with you, Val. It can shift so quickly, and I love this mission, and I would love to be, I just absolutely join you in the mission to reach 1 million animal lovers and help them realize they are all connected, and they are all connected to their animals, and thus we are all connected. And I love that also a lot of the wisdom says, a lot of the people that are talking about consciousness say, it doesn't have to be a majority on the planet. It's actually a very small percent, and I don't know where they come up with that. It's kind of like, 7%? Really? Where did that come from?
I know, math is always been kind of a mystery to me. It's like one of those made-up factoid kind of things. I don't know.
What I do, exactly.
The number that works for me is 1 million, so there you go.
Because I think, again, I do believe, because they do seem to agree on this, that it is a quantum thing. It's not a one-to-one thing. We don't have to have a majority. We just have to have enough consciousness that will shift it. And so, one of my favorite quotations is that basically new ideas pass through 3 phases. Denial first, ridicule, and finally self-evidence.
Wow, I love you. Oh, so glad you said that.
Yeah,
I know.
So it. I mean, just think of every new invention. Oh, don't be ridiculous. There's no such thing as a fill in the blank. So there's denial and there's ridicule. That's the stupidest thing I ever thought. Whoever thought of an electric carriage? What a stupid idea.
If man was meant to fly, God would have give us wings, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's ridicule.
Or talk to each other around the world through the magic of the internet. It's
Absolutely.
like, what?
No way. That's the stuff of science fiction. And of course, thank goodness for Gene Roddenberry in Star Trek, because he's
going where no man has ever gone before. Yeah.
Right. And so many of the right? That we then, I mean, look at the communicators. They were flip cell phones, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So teach us something. Teach us a technique that all our viewers can start to put to work today to make this shift, to make this difference. What can you teach us today?
Absolutely. It goes back to what I briefly brought up, which is this idea of really connecting to your heart. And in order to connect to your heart, you have to connect to your body. And how do you connect to your body? Through the breath. And again, this isn't rocket science. We all know this, but we forget. So it has to do with the conscious intention of taking in a breath and breathing that life force through our bodies into the heart space, into our hearts. So we can just, do this and connect, take a few deep breaths, and just as deep as you can take them. They don't have to go to your toes, just take it where it goes. And with each one, you might feel a little more relaxed, a little more peaceful. But holding in your mind the thought of your heart, and that is the seat of love. Obviously, it's the seat of your intuition. And it's by being consciously connected to this heart that you can make a difference in the lives of every being around you. So by breathing into the heart and being in that space, you can also breathe out any tension, but breathe in that love to your heart and feel as you are energizing that heart that it's radiating out into your energy field or your aura, however you wish to talk about it. And that energy is actually coming also from your heart up through your shoulders, down your arms and into your hands, so that everything you touch with love. Whether it's the keyboard, whether it's a cup of coffee, whether it's your beloved animal, or any being, anything that you touch, you are radiating love. And what happens is, as you really consciously do this, people will respond. Animals will respond very quickly. But people will respond. If you hand something to someone that you've actually felt that love coming down from your heart into your hand, and you're handing them a stack of papers, they may not get it right away, but watch. Things will shift around you in your office. Respond to this beautifully. You could be really frustrated with a kid. Stop and breathe into your heart, down into your hands, and touch that child with that love. That child will instantly respond. Even teenagers.
Well, that's the real test.
They can't help it, because that's what we truly are, right? That's what we are. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Teach only love, because that is what you are."
Whew, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. So, in the spirit of love, do you have a message you'd like to leave with us today? Or leave us with today?
Let's see. Beyond what we've already said, we've said that in so many different ways. I think in the spirit of love, to remember that love does truly heal everything. And we have to remember that and really believe it. Because it doesn't mean necessarily that it absolutely heals a physical body and so that body doesn't die. It doesn't mean that. But at a soul level, that being in that body is going to receive that, and it's going to shift energetically so that that soul will be lighter. That soul will be more connected. And that is a great gift we can give beyond the physical into the spirit and soul of every being that we connect with that way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very much.
All right, everybody, you've been watching a episode of the Real Dr. Doolittle Show, sponsored, I suppose, by the Animal Talk Coaching Club. We've been talking with Kate Solisti of katesolisti.com. She has some wonderful stuff on her website. Please go there. And let's see, don't keep us a secret. We have a few more people to reach 1 million. And you know a bunch of them, so share the show with others. Kate's interview will be up for a little while. Go to your favorite social media outlet, tell your friends, encourage them to participate. And let's see, remember to get your Quick Start to Animal Talk course. If you'll scroll down a bit here on the viewing page, or go to animaltalkcoachingclub.com and pick up your free Quick Start to Animal Talk course that will help you get started. It's free and it's there for you as well. So from the bottom of my heart, Kate, thank you so much. I appreciate your sharing your heart, your love, your passion with us today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Val. It was really fun. I'm so glad to finally meet you. I know we've known each other's names for all these years.
It's true.
It's the first time actually connecting heart to heart and face to face, and it's just a joy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Love, 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 love is the name of the game. I'm feeling a song coming on. Love, love, love. Okay, everybody, ready? Chorus? Okay. Well, and until next time, see you later. Love to much love to you and all your animals. Thank you. Thanks, Kate. Bye.
Bye.